Right now, the Brewers are headed to Los Angeles after a tough loss last night. We're looking ahead to Game 3. Plus, there's no excuse not to vote. A local nonprofit is offering free rides to and from the polls. You can arrange a ride today.
This is News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good Sunday morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning Sunday. It is 6:30 on this October 14th. I'm Josh Sprider with meteorologist Chris Reese. And Chris, yesterday turned out to be a pretty decent day. Maybe a little more cloudy today, the way it sounds.
We will be a little more cloudy today. Those clouds are on the increase. We won't be as warm as we were yesterday afternoon, but we are substantially warmer this morning with temperatures that are in the mid-40s. Here's a live look outside. You can kind of see the cloud cover over the Capitol. 44 degrees is the temperature right now. Winds are still out of the south at 6 miles per hour. They're going to stay out of the south through the morning before we see them turning out of the north through the afternoon. There's a cold front across Wisconsin right now that's just northwest of us. So across southern and central Wisconsin, you'll see a lot of temperatures that are in the 40s. But as we zoom things out, you can see those upper 30s as close as Eau Claire. Rhinelanders in the upper 30s, lower 30s across portions of central and northern Minnesota. That's where they're actually seeing a little bit of some light snow right now. That's coming as close as Eau Claire right now, just north of La Crosse. All of those areas in between are getting in on a little bit of light rain and snow, but we're going to watch this system as a whole as it inches closer, because that's going to bring chances for us tonight to see some rain of our own, along with a few snowflakes tonight as well. But temperatures this morning will be held in check with the cloud cover increasing. We'll go from about 41 to 44 during the afternoon, and then we'll see our highs right around 45 degrees with some showers and staying chilly.
I could tell walking outside it wasn't near as cold as it was yesterday.
It absolutely wasn't, so I guess we'll take it.
Can't complain. All right, Chris, thank you. Developing now on Madison's east side, police say one person is lucky to be alive. This after a round of bullets came within about a foot of the person while they were sleeping. It happened in the 1500 block of Lofts Gordon Avenue. Police say an apartment was struck by 4 rounds of bullets just before 3 o'clock this morning. Luckily, no one was injured, but police are investigating this close call. They ask anyone with information to call them or the Madison Area Crime Stoppers program. Right now in Rock County, 2 people are dead after officers say a car crossed a center line hitting a bus. This happened on East Highway N or County Highway N just after 8 last night. That's west of North County Highway KK in Lima Township. Investigators say the car hit the bus head-on, killing both the car's driver and her passenger. The driver of the bus and the 19 people on board were not hurt. The Wisconsin State Patrol is now assisting with that investigation, but right now no charges are anticipated. This morning, the Badgers are arriving back in Madison following a tough loss on the road to the 12th-ranked Wolverines. News 3 Sports Director Jay Wilson was there.
It was a close game at halftime, 13-7 Michigan, but the Wolverines pulled away in the second half to win 38-13 in a battle of top 15 teams here at Michigan Stadium. They say the quarterback gets too much credit after a win and too much blame after a loss, but you can certainly start with Alex Hornibrook. He was 7 of 20 for 100 yards, a consolation touchdown, and 2 interceptions, including one by Lavert Hill that was returned for a touchdown.
I'm not going to sit here and make excuses or complain about anything. We just got beat today. We knew what they were going to play. They played that, and they just beat us. So, you know, there's not too much to say there. We're just going to get better from it.
It's difficult to come in here and, you know, take an L. But what you have to do is you have to bounce back. You have no choice. It's time to get back to the drawing board and get ready for next week.
It's a tough situation to be in right now. It was a key game for us, but, you know, it's a long season ahead of us. We got to get ready for Illinois next week, so I'm excited.
We will go forward and we'll learn from this one and really the first half of the season, and we'll go forward. And like I said, I like this team.
The Badgers had won their last 17 regular season Big Ten games. Well, that streak's over. And Paul Chryst is now 15-2 on the road as head coach of the Badgers. The only 2 losses right here in Michigan. At Michigan Stadium, Jay Wilson, News 3 This Morning.
Thanks, Jay. Next weekend, the Badgers will be back at Camp Randall. It is homecoming weekend. They'll be facing Illinois. Kickoff is set for 11 o'clock on Saturday. Well, the Brewers' 12-game winning streak is over after falling to the Dodgers in Game 2 of the National League Championship Series in Milwaukee. They're now heading west to LA for Game 3. The Brew Crew got off to a good start, stealing what could have been a home run for the Dodgers in the first inning. There was no score until the 5th inning when Orlando Arcia launched his second home run of the postseason to put the Brewers up 1-0. The Brewers eventually got up to a 3-0 lead until the Dodgers rallied with Justin Turner leading the charge. 4-3 was the final score. The Brewers team, however, is still confident they've got this. Game 3 is tomorrow in Los Angeles. First pitch is set for 6:39, and you can watch that game on Fox Sports 1. Meanwhile, the Packers are off today, getting a chance for a much-needed recharge ahead of Monday Night Football. The team's offense has been stuck in second gear for the first 5 games of the season, averaging just 23 points per game, good for 18th in the league. During Week 1, Aaron Rodgers said it was going to be a work in progress. Now he says he's encouraged, but his team still isn't where they need to be.
22, 24, way up to 29 in Week 2. Not quite the standard that we've set here over the years with the type of offenses we think we can have. I don't feel like we're far off. We are very close to getting things going, and I feel like if we can get off to a better start on offense, it makes the entire squad play with a different type of confidence.
If you're hoping to score some tickets to tomorrow night's game, you're in luck. The Brewers game in LA is actually causing a drop in ticket sales for the Packers 49ers game. A lot of fans say they are planning on going to a sports bar or staying home to flip back and forth between the two. Ticket brokers say Monday night Lambeau Field tickets are usually difficult to buy, but with the competition from the Brewers game, they're selling at $20 below face value. On game day, you could find tickets at $50 or less. Time right now is 6:36 this morning. In the case of an emergency, minutes matter. That's why Dane County officials want to make sure you know when there's a serious situation in your area. Whether it's an emergency evacuation or a dangerous person in the neighborhood, the Dane County Emergency Notification System can send messages to the people affected to keep them informed. You can sign up to receive those alerts on your cell phone through text or email, or get a call on your landline with a recorded message. We have a link to where you can register on our website, channel3000.com. As we get closer to the November 6th election, the Monona Grove School District is asking voters to approve a nearly $58 million referendum. That money would be used to build and run a new elementary school. It would also go towards some safety measures and to reconstruct the high school track and football field. If voters approve the referendum on next month's ballot, it would raise property taxes by about $150 for a $200,000 home. The district expects to grow by 1,200 students over the next 20 years. Right now, the city of Madison is asking for your help at the polls on November 6th. There are hundreds of positions still needing to be filled to help with voting next month. The city's clerk's office says there are more than 3,000 shifts available. Poll workers do get paid around $13 an hour. If you're interested, you can find more information and sign up on the City of Madison's website right there on your screen. You can also find a link to that on our Channel 3000 mobile app. More than 30,000 absentee ballots are already in with early voting underway. That's according to the Wisconsin Elections Commission. And whether you're planning to vote now or later, a local nonprofit wants to make that process even easier. The group is called Common Cause in Wisconsin. They connect voters with people and organizations that can drive them for free to the polls in every Wisconsin county. The organization has been doing this for 4 years now. After making calls and scouring the web, the nonprofit found more than a dozen groups offering free rides to the polls, but they also found some parts of the state where no one offered this help. That's when they decided to step in.
We're really trying to make sure that all eligible voters in Wisconsin can vote, that they have that opportunity. I mean, a lot of people fought and died for the right to vote in this country. The thought that any of them, can't exercise that right simply because they don't have a ride, they can't get there, it's horrifying.
After starting small during the 2016 election, Common Cause partnered with more than 20 organizations in addition to using 80 of its own drivers. It has compiled those groups into a list which you can find right now on channel3000.com. It is just about 6:40 this Sunday morning, and what a change a week makes. It's been dry this weekend, but we've had to swap the umbrella for a coat. Here's a live look outside. Another chilly morning, but not quite as bad as what we woke up to yesterday. Chris is tracking a chance for rain, maybe even some snow flurries, and of course those temperatures in his full forecast. And finally, getting the honor they deserve. We'll take you to one touching ceremony for a well-deserving World War II soldier's family when News 3 This Morning Sunday continues.
Well, good morning. It's a beautiful Sunday out there, though we do still have some cloud cover starting to stream in, but we can see a little bit of color with our sunrise coming in over the Capitol right now. In addition to that cloud cover that is streaming in, we're at 43 degrees. Winds are out of the south along with that cloud cover, and that helped us keep us on the milder side overnight compared to where temperatures were this time yesterday morning. And you can see that southerly wind across the region right now. But if you notice, just to our north and west, winds are coming out of the north and west. That's because we do have a cold front that's essentially right here on top of us in Wisconsin. So across our region, you'll see a lot of temperatures that are in the 40s. But as we zoom things out, just to the north and west, there are a lot of upper 30s that show up and even some low and mid 30s across portions of Minnesota. All of that cooler air is gradually working its way towards the south and east. And along with that front, there is some rain and snow for our neighbors to the north and west. We've essentially got a little system that could, if you will, that's trying to work its way across the Midwest right now. It really does not have a lot of strength, but that will be moving our way later on today along with that cold front sinking onto the south, and that wave of low pressure along it will try to bring some rain and the possibility of some snowflakes or so as we go into the overnight hours and into tomorrow before high pressure takes control and brings us a lot of sunshine along with some cooler temperatures going into your Monday. So let's go ahead and take you hour by hour throughout today. We'll see those temperatures in the 40s for highs this afternoon. A lot of the rain and snow up north, that'll dry out and fall apart. The main front comes in later by about 9 o'clock. You'll notice those showers increasing once again. Some of that cold air taking over could turn the back edge of those showers over to some snow, but notice temperatures are in the upper 30s. So a lot of this wouldn't stick. We wouldn't really need to be concerned about this. We'll still see some snow probably around midnight before that clears on out. Behind it, the air is a lot drier and a lot cooler as well. We're going to see 40s for highs going through the next several days. Speaking of 40s, this afternoon we'll be at 45 tonight, 32 degrees with some showers and a few snowflakes as well. Then as we go through the next 7 to 10 days, those rain chances are honestly going to be pretty hard to come by. There's a small rain chance Friday, but we will see plenty of sunshine through the next week and some change.
Plenty of sunshine is always good.
Absolutely, Josh.
All right, Chris, thank you. Time right now is 6:45 this morning. With the advancement of technology, it's becoming a more common theme. Unknown soldiers finally receiving the proper burial they deserve after DNA testing. Caleb Gillock headed to one community able to bury the remains of a familiar World War II veteran.
Hey, good evening. That's right. After over 70 years, one U.S. veteran has finally received his proper burial. Dozens of people gathered this afternoon at Rose Hill Cemetery in Thompson to celebrate the life of Private Donald E. Brown.
My cousin, she's here with her 2 sons. They were part of the service. And then we have a whole array of second and third cousins that are here.
After being declared as an unknown soldier in Europe since 1944, Private Brown finally returned home earlier today.
From what I understand, his tank that Don was the only casualty of that attack.
70 years later, the family was contacted to see if they were interested in pursuing DNA testing.
I had to request that the remains actually be disinterred there in France, and I had to be willing to submit DNA.
After Joyce and her cousin had submitted DNA samples, they found out there was a match.
I cried, and that surprised me actually because, in fact, I had never met him other than, just the stories that were passed on to me.
Allison admits this hits close to home.
Having 2 sons in uniform was a very moving experience for me to think that the country that we live in and the army that we serve goes to such drastic efforts to find remains of soldiers.
And the family expressed their thankfulness to those who helped make the ceremony possible.
The participation of the community and the local authorities that made it happen, the folks that came out to say goodbye and show their respects to a soldier in uniform who gave the ultimate sacrifice was very moving for me.
Reporting in Thompson, Caleb Gillock, KIMT News 3.
Time right now is 6:48, and it is time to explore. We're talking about the 2019 Ford Expedition as we head behind the wheel with Harvey. That's when News 3 This Morning Sunday returns. Welcome back at 6:51 this morning. An expedition is defined as an excursion, journey, or voyage made for some specific purpose. That pretty much describes the Ford Expedition, a true full-sized SUV, emphasis on full-sized. Our Mark Kane goes behind the wheel this week with Harvey Briggs.
There's a lot of car here.
It is big.
Oh, here we are.
There it is. Yeah. No.
Size of this thing.
This thing is the 2019 Ford Expedition. Big is the operative word.
Well, this is quite a ride here.
Quite a big ride. Hello over there.
Hello in the back.
So it has all the good things about the F-150 in terms of the rigid frame and the aluminum body panels and all that make it lighter so it can do more. They put it in this super luxurious giant SUV form.
It is. I can't believe how much room there is here.
Yeah, this is a uniquely American vehicle. We love things big, and this is as big as it gets. Well, actually not quite. You can get a max version of this that is 11.9 inches longer and gives you more cargo space behind the third row.
Ah yes, the third row, the bane of Harvey's existence. Third row seats that only a small child can love.
You can fit 8 full-size people in here. We're not even talking about kids in the third row. You can put 6-foot adults in the back seat of this car comfortably.
You know, we've often struggled with these things to get into the third row.
Right.
And you complain about it constantly.
Constantly.
Well, no complaining here. Kind of.
You even have headroom.
Yeah, it's not huge, but I could sit back here for an hour and not complain too much.
And when those seats aren't in use, a push of a button or two transforms the Expedition from a people hauler into a plain hauler.
You just go ahead and press a button here, and the seat drops down. And if that's not enough room, you go ahead and do that, and it lays flat. So you can go ahead and get a lot of luggage in this whole thing.
You're not kidding, a lot of luggage.
I think I could sleep back here.
You probably could.
This is bigger than a New York City apartment.
And all that room does come with a price. The base rear-wheel drive Expedition starts at $53,000. Our tester, well, a wee bit more.
This one, as it sits in the limited trim, is about $70,000. But you know, you got everything on here.
And Harvey means everything. All the latest in tech, including Amazon's Alexa.
Or you can say, hey, Alexa, start my Expedition and warm the interior up to 80 degrees. So when it's cold out, I can. So those are the kind of things that are starting to happen in vehicles like this now.
It's a new world.
It is, and it's only going to get newer.
And it has every safety feature known to modern man, including self-parking.
So you can hit the button and it will parallel park this vehicle for you. So if you're a little intimidated by the size, it has the technology to help you get over that.
It'll also tow 9,300 pounds, and this SUV's blind spot detector covers the trailer as well. The only real competition in this class is the Chevy Suburban. Harvey prefers the Expedition. There are a lot of crossovers, only a few SUVs.
Crossovers are vehicles that think they're SUVs or would like to be when they grow up. This is an SUV.
It is big.
I think big is just a word we're going to keep coming back to again and again and again.
You won't have to travel far for this next fun fall activity, perfect for people of all ages. There's a pretty spooky trolley ride you might want to check out soon. The Wisconsin Dells Haunted Nights History Tour is going on through the month of October. Organizers say they'll tell you about the secrets tourism marketers are trying to keep hidden. You can visit a haunted cemetery, use a special meter to search for ghosts, and maybe even run into a few scary surprises along the way. You can buy your tickets at dellstrolley.com. Coming up on 6:56 right now, and there's a full hour ahead here on News 3 This Morning Sunday. We have a look at what's ahead for the Brew Crew as they head to Los Angeles for Game 3. But first, here's a preview of what's to come on an all-new For the Record.
Good morning, I'm Eric Franke, filling in for Neil Heinen. This morning on For the Record, we're talking about the election in November, quickly approaching, a lot at stake, and we're here to talk about it, our political analyst Brandon Scholes, a partner at the Capital Group, and Matt Rothschild from the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign. Join us on For the Record this morning at 10:30.
Good morning and welcome back to News 3 this morning, Sunday. It is October 14th. I'm Josh Breiter. Meteorologist Chris Reese is tracking a lot of sunshine along with our next chance for rain. But first, here's what's making news this morning. Madison police say one person is lucky to be alive after a round of bullets came within about 1 foot of the person while they were sleeping. It happened just before 3 this morning in the 1500 block of Lofts Gordon Avenue. That's on the city's east side. Police say an apartment was struck by 4 rounds of bullets. Luckily, no one was injured. Police are still investigating that close call and ask anyone with information to call them or the Madison Area Crime Stoppers program. Stoughton Road is set to reopen tomorrow. It's been closed this weekend in both directions between Highway 30 and East Washington Avenue. Crews are working to repair the railroad crossing after a number of drivers complained about its condition. Some claim they've had to slam on their brakes or risk ruining their suspensions. If you want to avoid the construction, take the interstate. Early voting is underway across the state right now, and whether you choose to vote now or on Election Day, a local nonprofit wants to make sure you have no trouble getting to the polls. Common Cause of Wisconsin is offering free rides to the polls for people living in every county in the state. The nonprofit will connect you with an organization or a driver that can bring you to your polling place. We have a full list of those services offered by county and city on our website, channel3000.com. Just search for free rides at the top of our home screen. What is the final day of the Wisconsin Science Festival, and from flight simulators to a robot zoo, there's really something for everybody. The 4-day festival includes events across the state. There are special exhibits, workshops, and seminars, including sessions on getting more women and minorities interested in STEM-related careers. You can find out more about the hundreds of events happening around Wisconsin at wiscifest.org. It is 7:01, and Chris, you're tracking maybe a chance for some snowflakes overnight tonight?
There is a chance for some snowflakes, though that won't be the bulk of the action that we see later on. We'll talk about that in just a sec. But if you're headed out the door, the temperatures are in the mid-40s right now. Winds are out of the south at 6 miles per hour, but that's going to be changing as we go through the day because we actually have a cold front working its way into town right now. So yes, while we have temperatures in the mid-40s across much of southern and central Wisconsin, you work your way to the north, that's where temperatures are in the mid and upper 30s, and that cooler air is gradually going to move towards the south and east in time. Now, along that front, there's actually some light rain and some snow right now up near Eau Claire, between La Crosse. They're getting in on some of that, but that's going to dry out as we go through the afternoon. We're going to pay attention to what's over Nebraska right now. That little wave of energy is going to be moving through, bringing that chance for some rain and snow this afternoon and evening. So here we are with highs right around 45 degrees today. Here's that cold front coming on through, and then we have that next round of rain that begins to develop. You'll notice that as early as about 9 o'clock. We'll also have some snowflakes developing on the backside. That's kind of been the overall trend of the models lately, but that'll clear out of here very quickly as lows fall towards the freezing mark by tomorrow morning. In terms of your first alert traffic, let's go ahead and show you how things are shaping up outside as of now. There are no major issues showing up across the city of Madison or downtown this morning. Josh?
Thanks, Chris. Right now in Rock County, 2 people are dead after officers say a car crossed the center line hitting a bus. It happened on East County Highway N just after 8 last night. That's west of North County Highway KK in Lima Township. Investigators say the car hit the bus head-on, killing both the car's driver and her passenger. The driver of the bus and the 19 people on board were not hurt. The Wisconsin State Patrol is now assisting with the investigation, but right now no charges are anticipated. A heads up for drivers heading into the work week. The rest area along the northbound side of I-3990 in Beloit is closing tomorrow. Crews are going to be working on pavement for new ramp alignments. Access to the I-43 and Highway 81 interchange to the north of that rest stop will stay open to area restaurants, gas stations, and hotels while the work is being done. The rest area will stay closed through November 1st. It is 7:04 this morning, and with a couple of days of sunshine to dry out the fields, harvest season is picking up for farmers, so remember to give them some room out on the roads. It's illegal to pass in front of tractors or other slow-moving machinery in a no-passing zone. According to the state DOT, 18 people were killed and more than 600 injured from crashes involving ag equipment between 2011 and 2017. Wisconsin Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin and Republican candidate Leah Vukmir pitched their cases to Wisconsin voters in a televised debate last night. The two were asked about a variety of topics, including abortion, immigration, and marijuana legalization. Baldwin says she would support federally changing the drug from a Schedule I to Schedule II to allow research on its benefits. Vukmir wants it left up to the state, saying there are no medical indications for its use. One of the biggest topics was health care. Baldwin supports strengthening the Affordable Care Act, while Vukmir says she backs a free market health care.
Imagine if you don't have private insurance and you're that person who has a rare lung disease. You're not able to see your special doctor. That's what Senator Baldwin wants us to do.
It has been my life's work to fight to make sure that Americans have access to affordable, quality health care, regardless of pre-existing condition or other factors, that we don't have an age tax for people over 50.
Another spot where they disagreed, the need for an FBI investigation into the allegations of sexual misconduct against now Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Vukmir said Baldwin had already made up her mind about the judge and didn't allow for due process. Some of the state's most influential leaders of color are meeting this week to discuss network and plan for the future of communities across the state. We're joined this morning now by Henry Sanders with Madison 365 to explain why this is so important for the Madison community right now. Good morning.
Good morning.
So talk a little bit about what you guys are going to be doing.
So for Madison 365, our mission is to reach people of color. And for the Wisconsin Leadership Summit, we're trying to bring some of the most influential people together for 2 days at Ho-Chunk to talk about issues that are really going on in our state, but how do we deal from a person of color perspective? Sometimes we talk about issues when it comes to Latinos, African Americans, around disparities, but what would you talk about how we can solve some of those problems? So I'm bringing these people together for October 18th and 19th in the Dells to deal with some of these issues.
Have you guys met to discuss something like this before?
No. So this is our first time ever doing it. Historically, we've brought the African American group together by themselves and the Latino group together by themselves with the Bucks, Milwaukee Bucks and Milwaukee Brewers. I mean, just a social setting, but not in a really formal setting like this. This is why we're excited about it.
Why do you think it's so important to have something like this right now in our community?
Well, because as you know, Wisconsin's usually ranked as some of the worst places to live for people of color. And we don't really talk about the solutions. Well, how do we solve some of those problems? Well, go to the people and the leaders who are actually dealing with these problems day to day. And so I figured if we can get these folks together to talk around health disparities, social justice, education, and see what their solutions are to the issues.
Have you had a lot of people kind of reaching out and kind of wondering what this is going to do?
Yeah, we have a lot of people reached out. We were only planning for 100 people to show up. We have about 250 people registered already, so it's bigger than we thought. But I think people are really excited about some of the solutions that will come out of this, some of the real conversations, and just networking, I think, would be a big part of it also.
So first time meeting, what are you kind of hoping that comes from this?
I'm hoping that people say that we can actually get together, that we can change some of the perception of people of color, that we can actually hear solutions from some of our panelists, and that we can have a real dialogue about how to move forward and how to deal with some of these real pertinent issues to attract and retain people of color in our state.
So anybody is invited to this event?
And you should come. Anyone's invited. Yeah. Everyone's invited, yes. Everyone's invited. It should be a fun time. We're really looking, thank you for Ho-Chunk Nation partnering with us.
So again, if people are interested, why don't you give them all the details so they can check it out?
Yeah, so it's October 18th and 19th in Wisconsin Dells at Ho-Chunk Nation.
All right, and we've got a graphic up there on the screen. Again, the Leadership Summit is 2 days long, running this Thursday and Friday at the Ho-Chunk Gaming and Convention Center in the Dells. And former Badger and NFL wide receiver Brandon Williams is this year's MC and host of the event. That should be pretty interesting.
Yeah, he's such a character. He's full of energy. He's all about leadership. And I'm excited to have Brandon. He's a really good guy. I think he represents Wisconsin in such a good way.
I think so, too. Yeah. So thanks for joining us this morning. Of course, we'll get all of this up on channel3000.com as well.
You're coming.
I'll try, yes. You betcha. All right, thank you. Well, speaking of the Badgers this morning, the team is arriving back in Madison after a tough top 15 matchup against Michigan at the Big House last night. There was no score until the second quarter when Michigan took the 7-0 lead. A few minutes later, the Badgers tied the game, but it was the second half that really had Michigan come out swinging with a final of 38-13. The Badgers lost their first conference game of the season. They're now 4-2 on the season. It was a tough day for the Brew Crew as well. The team's 12-game winning streak ended with a loss to the Dodgers in Game 2 of the National League Championship Series. The team is now heading west to Los Angeles for Game 3. The Brewers got off to a good start, stealing what could have been a home run for the Dodgers in the first inning. There was no score until the 5th inning when Orlando Arcia launched his second home run of the postseason to put the team up 1-0. The Brewers eventually got up to a 3-0 lead until the Dodgers rallied with Justin Turner leading that charge. 4-3 was the final score. This Brewers team, however, is still confident they've got this.
It happened, so we got to move on from it. Can't hold it against them. They've been doing a great job. So we'll be ready to go.
That's how you play baseball. You short memory and you just move on. And that's why it's a 7-game series. You know, there's a lot of baseball left to play.
We're very confident. Everybody in this clubhouse is, we know how to move on from day to day. I mean, we've been doing it all year, man. It's just one game that got away from us, and we had to take a day off and go back to LA, go to LA and take those games.
Game 3 is tomorrow night in Los Angeles. First pitch is at 6:39. You can watch that game on Fox Sports 1. If football more is your thing and you're hoping to score some tickets to tomorrow night's Packers game, you're in luck. The Monday night Brewers game in LA is causing a drop in ticket sales for the Packers 49ers game. A lot of fans say they are planning to go to a sports bar or stay home to flip back and forth between the Pack and the Crew. Ticket brokers say Monday night Lambeau Field tickets are usually very difficult to get, but with the competition from the Brewers game, they're selling at $20 below face value right now. On game day, you can actually find tickets at $50 or less. How about that? 11 minutes past the hour. Once upon a time, it was one of the world's most popular drinks and a favorite of royalty. But after becoming relatively unknown for quite some time, mead is experiencing a resurgence in popularity. Why more breweries, restaurants, bars, and even home brewers are jumping on the bandwagon. The news is back in the morning on News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
Good Sunday morning to all of you guys out there. There's a lot of cloud cover today as opposed to yesterday. That helped keep us a little bit warmer overnight, but that's going to keep temperatures on the cooler side today. Here's a live look over the Capitol right now. We had a little bit of sun just minutes ago, but that is now all gone. Temperatures are at 44 degrees. Winds are still out of the south at about 6 miles per hour here in Madison. Let's go up towards Black River Falls, though. You'll notice winds are coming out of the north and the northwest. There's a cold front right over the state of Wisconsin right now that's working its way to the south and east. We will eventually begin to feel some of the effects of that cold front. But in the meantime, we do have temperatures that are mainly in the 40s across our part of the state. 30s as you work your way just to the north, and even low 30s across parts of Minnesota. All of that cooler air is gradually working its way on into town. Ahead of that cooler air is a light little burst of precipitation. There's some rain and snow across the northern tier of the state, but really it's a system across the Midwest that we are watching, and it's a very weak system. I like to call it the system that could, although it's bringing upwards of 6 inches of snow to parts of Nebraska. But that system will work its way towards Wisconsin along this cold front. And that'll bring us the chance for some rain and the possibility of some light snow on the back side of that rain later on tonight. As that cold front pushes on through, though, high pressure will take over, and we'll see more clearing skies and sunshine going through the start of your work week. Let's go ahead and plan out your Sunday. As you're headed out the door, temperatures are in the 40s. They're going to be staying in the 40s as we go through the rest of the afternoon. So we'll see those highs likely around 45 degrees or so. Once we get the main cold front in here and that wave of energy later on tonight, we'll notice more rain showers beginning to develop right around 9 o'clock. But that cold air is coming in, and that'll catch up to the back side of that rain system, turning that over to a few snowflakes as the system departs. But temperatures are well above freezing, so we are not worried about any kind of travel impact as that comes on through. We'll see temperatures, though, falling towards about the freezing mark as we get into the overnight hours before we get a little bit warmer with more sunshine going into your Monday. But temperatures, folks, they're going to be well below normal as we go through the next several days behind that front. We'll have a lot of days with temperatures staying in the 40s, and that starts today with 45 degrees expected to be our high this afternoon. We'll see some showers, but ultimately we'll be staying chilly. Tonight, 32 for the low, some showers along with a few snowflakes, and that's about it for our chances of rain as we go through the next 7 to 10 days. We'll see sunshine all through the work week. There's a possibility of a shower or two on Friday, but even next weekend and into next week is looking abundant with sunshine as of now.
Hard to complain with that forecast, Chris.
It is a perfect fall weather forecast, and I'm pretty sure a lot of folks will get out and enjoy it.
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
Well, we've been obviously sharing your morning with us every morning here, so we've been asking you to share your morning with us. Check out this photo that Dan sent us. A beautiful shot there of the sunrise, a little hazy out there out on the farm. Thank you so much for sharing, Dan. So what does your morning look like? Be sure to take a picture and post it to the Channel 3000 Facebook page, or you can find us on Twitter or Instagram. Use that hashtag MyNews3Morning, and that's how we're able to pick out our favorites and share them right here on News 3 This Morning. But at 7:18 right now, a drink popular with princes and poppers century ago is experiencing a rebirth. Maybe it's on your list of things to drink this weekend. John Schumer reports from New York.
Historians trace it to 7000 BC. Want to take a guess what mead might be?
Is it an acronym?
I think it's some kind of tropical drink.
Despite once being known as a nectar of the gods and one of the world's most popular drinks, mead is relatively unknown today. Small batches are crafted inside a meadery.
A meadery.
Meadery. Mead is honey-based alcohol, an ancient drink that's suddenly trendy. Actor Dylan Sprouse, best known for playing alongside his twin brother in Disney's Sweet Life with Zack and Cody, first learned about mead growing up in California.
Through our just family celebrations, there was a little bit of mead here, a little bit of mead there.
Sprouse co-founded All Wise Meadery in Brooklyn, New York last year.
No one really knows in the general public what mead is. So part of what we try to do here is to educate people about the processes.
The process involves mixing honey, water, and yeast, and on this day, rose petals. Lots of them.
Now that's the good stuff.
The final product looks like this. The makers of this mead say it is best enjoyed chilled like a white wine. It doesn't taste quite like wine. Mead has its own distinct flavor. There are a handful of labels on the market, most sold in specialty liquor stores. And while mead is becoming more mainstream,
keep Bud Lights for everyone and a mead.
there's still a way to go before it becomes a household name again. A renaissance a few hundred years in the making. John Schumo, CBS News, Brooklyn, New York.
Mead's popularity is also growing among home brewers. Well, time right now is 7:20 this morning, and still to come this morning, there's another benefit to keeping off the pounds and new advice for pregnant women as the flu season approaches. Health Watch is just ahead on News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
Good morning. We still have a lot of cloud cover pulling into the area. That's along a cold front that's working through. Out ahead of that, temperatures are milder than they were yesterday morning. We are at 44 degrees right now with those winds coming out of the south. They will turn northwesterly though as we head into the afternoon, and that's going to start to cool things off. So that's the reason that we'll only see highs right around 45 degrees today. Some showers are possible this afternoon as well. As we head during the overnight hours, we'll have the possibility for a few snowflakes to mix in, but temperatures should be well above freezing before that. Ultimately though, our overnight lows should drop to about 32. Josh?
Chris, thank you. On the Health Watch at 7:24 this morning, the CDC is recommending all pregnant women get a flu shot this year. A new study finds pregnant women who receive a flu shot reduce their risk of being hospitalized for flu by an average of 40%. Researchers tested women around the world, saying the vaccine protects them and their babies both before and after birth. Losing weight could reduce a woman's chance of developing breast cancer after menopause. That's according to a study published in the journal Cancer. It found postmenopausal women who shed pounds saw a 12% reduction in breast cancer risk, while women who gained weight had a 54% higher chance of developing a rare form of the disease. Intermittent fasting may be the key to reversing type 2 diabetes. Doctors writing for the British medical journals say 3 of their patients between 40 and 67 were able to stop injecting themselves with insulin after following a fasting schedule. A larger scale study is now in the works. Still ahead this morning, the call to action by the city of Madison, why more people are needed to volunteer at the polls on Election Day, now less than a month away. And it's being called an overdose epidemic. The small Wisconsin town's cry for help after more than 100 overdoses in less than 2 years. This is News 3 This Morning, Sunday. Heartbroken and helping. How one neighbor is hoping something as simple as a home will help save lives and curb his town's overdose epidemic.
This is News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
Good Sunday morning and welcome back to News 3 This Morning, Sunday. It is 7:30 on this Sunday, October 14th. I'm Josh Breiter. Meteorologist Chris Reese is tracking a lot of sunshine along with our next chance for rain, maybe even a few snow flurries. But first, here's what's making news this morning. Madison police say one person is lucky to be alive after a round of bullets came within about a foot of the person while they were sleeping. It happened just before 3 this morning in the 1500 block of Lofts Gordon Avenue. That's on the city's east side. Police say an apartment was hit by 4 rounds of bullets. Luckily, no one was injured. Police are still investigating and ask anyone with information to call them or the Madison Area Crime Stoppers program. The city of Madison is asking for your help at the polls on November 6th. There are hundreds of positions still needing to be filled to help with voting next month. The city clerk's office says there are more than 3,000 shifts available. Poll workers do get paid about $13 an hour. If you're interested, you can find more information and sign up on the City of Madison's website. You can see that there on the bottom of your screen. You can also find a link to that on channel3000.com. Tomorrow night's Brewers game in LA is causing a drop in ticket sales for the Packers 49ers game right now. Many fans say they're planning to go to a sports bar or stay home to flip back and forth between the two. Ticket brokers say Monday night Lambeau Field tickets are usually very difficult to buy, but with the competition from the Brewers game, they're actually selling at $20 below face value. On game day, you can find tickets for $50 or less. If you're looking for a fun fall activity for the family, you may want to check out this pretty spooky trolley ride. The Wisconsin Dells Haunted Nights History Tour is going on through the end of the month. Organizers say they'll tell you about the secrets tourism marketers try to keep hidden. You can also visit a haunted cemetery, use a special meter to search for ghosts, and maybe even run into a few scary surprises along the way. You can buy those tickets at dellstrolley.com. 7:31 right now, and Chris, not too bad to start off compared to yesterday out there.
That's right, and that's not a scary surprise for us. That's a welcome surprise for a lot of folks, seeing temperatures in the 40s this morning opposed to the upper 20s. That's because we've had cloud cover to work as a blanket, but we also have winds out of the south at about 6 miles per hour. Now, they're going to be turning out of the north and northwest as we go through the rest of the afternoon. Temperatures are in the 40s here, yeah, but then watch the colder air starting to stream in from the north and west. That's where we have temperatures that are in the 30s as of now. What we have is a weak cold front coming on through. Well, actually, it's a pretty strong cold front, but it's got a weak system coming along it. That's bringing a little bit of some rain and snow to some places this morning. That'll likely dry out as we go through the afternoon, but overall, we still have more energy to work its way into the state of Wisconsin, there, and that'll be working on through as we go into the afternoon and evening hours, especially towards those overnight hours later on tonight. So here we are with those highs right around 45 today. We'll notice the rain chances increasing once again as that next round of energy moves into the picture. Cold air will be catching up to the backside of that, and that could lead to a few snowflakes on the back edge as that all clears on out of here. But notice we'll have the moisture long gone by the time temperatures do fall towards the freezing mark. So again, we are not too concerned about any kind of travel impacts. Speaking of travel, the rest of the city of Madison does look absolutely good this morning in terms of traffic. There are no issues or delays showing up as of now. Josh.
All right, Chris, some good news there for a Sunday morning. Time right now is 7:33. Since 2016, 115 people have overdosed in the city of Portage. 16 have died. That may not seem like a lot, but the police chief says he's never seen anything like it in his small city, and the problem can't be solved by his department alone. Only News 3's Danica Lewis and photojournalist Melissa Baleen shares how one neighbor is hoping to help.
On Highway 33, on your way into Portage, there are roadside reminders of how we should treat one another. And there may be no better example of that unofficial city motto than Jake Neeson.
Man, that is not light. I mean, I'm just a normal person trying to do abnormal things, I guess.
Jake started renovating his new house a few weeks ago, spending his savings on the perfect property.
It is a lot of work and it's a lot of money, but there will be something so much more after I'm done with this other than just a house. This will be a safe place and a place where people can recover.
This will soon be a sober living home, giving people struggling with addiction some sort of foundation.
We're criminalizing addiction instead of treating addiction. Jail is not treatment. Prison is not treatment. This is treatment.
We're not going to arrest our way out of this. It's the whole community. We need to come together.
Portage Police Chief Ken Manthe has been dealing with drug issues for decades. There's been an overdose for every 87 people who live in his city over the past 3 years alone. And the situation is getting worse as dealers lace more of their heroin with fentanyl.
Before, if someone overdosed, usually one dose of Narcan would bring them back around. Now we're seeing 2, 3, 4, or more doses of Narcan to bring these people back around. So it shows how strong this drug is. It gets so frustrating when we keep seeing these people. You would think that if you were brought back to life, that should be a life-changing event, that a person would say, I'm never going to do this again. But unfortunately, that's not the case.
Luckily, it was the case for Jake. But just like renovations, recovery didn't come easy. It all started with a serious car accident years ago. The doctor prescribed him oxycodone.
For the first time in my life, I finally felt happy, briefly, which is sad because I think I suffered from serious depression and suicidal ideation. And then they hand me this prescription to help with pain, and I was like, this is it. You know, like, I don't have to look for anything else. This is my purpose in life.
After years in and out of jail cells and 10 different treatment facilities, Jake knew he needed a different place to heal. And he found that place in a sober living home.
Well, you brought the dog, huh? Hey, bud.
I didn't get a hug.
Okay, it's what saved me. Love you. And I felt like there needs to be more than just a 3-hour counseling session, you know, 3 days a week.
Hey, bud.
And this is so hands-on that this will provide the best safety net for people, I believe.
He's been clean for almost 3 years now.
I found something that I want to do in my life that I'm passionate about, and that kind of like limits the idea of it being a challenge.
Look at that. Look at that! Nice measurements.
It's more of a gift, and it's more of an opportunity instead of a challenge.
Jake hopes a sense of safety and support will do for his tenants the same thing it did for him, starting a chain reaction of us following that Portage mantra and looking out for one another.
If they can pay it forward, like let's say I have people that do recover and they do the same thing I'm doing, I mean, this will just spread, and that's what I'm looking for.
In Portage, Danica Lewis, WISC News 3.
Jake plans to have the remodeling done by the end of this month, but the work won't end there. He's planning a fundraiser to help residents pay for rent until they're able to get back on their feet. He hopes some of that money can go towards a second recovery house he wants to open for women. Time right now is 7:37 this morning, and there's something rotten showing at the Overture Center right now, and that's a good thing. Michael Bruno is going to go backstage of the Broadway musical Something Rotten to meet a Middleton native who's touring the country with the show. Thanks for watching News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good morning. We are seeing increasing cloud cover, and that will be the trend as we go through the day. That cloud cover overnight worked as a blanket to keep us warm, coupled with winds coming out of the south at about 6 miles per hour. Now, as we go through the afternoon, temperatures are actually going to be held in check by that cloud cover, so we'll only top out right around 45 degrees. A cold front comes through with those winds coming out of the north and west. That means we'll have a chance for some rain and snow tonight. I'm not concerned about any kind of travel impacts. It should all be light. We'll see lows falling towards about 32. Josh?
Thanks, Chris. 7:41 is your time right now. The Tony Award-winning musical Something Rotten opened on Broadway in 2015. Now the national tour has hit the stage at the Overture Center, and among the cast is a Middleton native. Our Michael Bruno goes backstage.
Backstage with Brian. Welcome home.
Thank you.
And you are so wonderful in the ensemble of Something Rotten. So tell us a bit about the plot of the show.
Yeah. So Something Rotten takes place in 1595. We're in the Elizabethan era. And our first number is Welcome to the Renaissance. And we give you the rundown of everything that's going on in the Renaissance. And then we meet Nick and Nigel Bottom, who are the heads of a theater troupe. And their biggest competition is William Shakespeare. And in our show, Shakespeare is played as a pop icon that we're all infatuated with and love and just adore. They are a little down on their luck. They're running out of money, so Nick gets the idea to go to a soothsayer in a dark alley and find out what the next big thing in theater is going to be. And the soothsayer, Nostradamus, tells him that the next big thing in theater is musicals.
We'll do a musical.
No kidding.
A musical. What could be more amazing than a musical? With song and dance and sweet romance. And with a musical we might have half a chance.
And from there, hilarity ensues with a mashup of musical theater and Shakespeare references, and it's a great time.
And for some unexplainable reason, the crowd goes wild every time. The dancers kick in unison in one big wonderful line. And then you got yourself a musical.
And one of the most wonderful things about the show is that there's all these inside jokes about all these musicals and about Shakespeare's plays and how he steals from all the other authors of his time.
A quintessential musical comedy, for sure. And the great thing about this show is if you are a musical theater lover or a Shakespeare lover, you will love it. But if you're not, it's still such a spectacle. It keeps moving, it doesn't stop. So you'll never be bored. And if you do like musical theater, you'll get all those references and just have a great time.
Welcome to the Renaissance. Everything is new.
Because Renaissance means rebirth.
It is 7:45 on this Sunday morning. Here's a live look in Platteville this morning. Not too shabby of a morning compared to yesterday. We're a lot milder. It is going to be kind of a cloudy day, and Chris is looking at a chance for rain, maybe even some snow flurries. His full forecast when News 3 This Morning Sunday continues. But first, if you have a little kid turning 3 years old soon, please let us know so we can show their picture on TV. News 3 This Morning Sunday will return in a moment.
We're waking up to a lot of cloud cover this morning. If you were headed out on the town, no rain or snow falling out of those clouds as of now. The temperature 44 degrees. Winds are still out of the south. That's what helped keep things a little bit warmer overnight. We can still see that southerly wind that's starting to turn now. We're going to see a northwesterly wind take over as we go through the afternoon. There's actually a frontal boundary pretty much right in here that is very slow moving, and so you can see temperatures are mainly in the 40s, but as we work our way to the north and west, that's where we're starting to see those temperatures return to the upper 30s. We also have some low and mid 30s across parts of Minnesota. That's all going to be gradually working its way down to the south and east. We get to parts of southern Minnesota and northwestern Iowa. It is snowing there this morning, and some of that snow is starting to work its way in to parts of northwestern Wisconsin as well. Up near Eau Claire, they could be seeing a few flakes of snow coming down as of now. But here's the system as a whole. It's not really a strong system simply because it's all based on the front. There's no true wave of low pressure riding along it. But a lot of that moisture is behind the front, so the cold air is tapping into that. And that's going to bring some snow to parts of Nebraska and Iowa today. And eventually some of that could work its way into Wisconsin as well. Here's that front gradually working its way towards the south and east. You have this wave of energy coming along that tonight. That'll bring out some rain showers, along with the possibility of some light snow, and then high pressure takes over. That's going to give us sunshine going through the rest of the week. Let's take you hour by hour through your Sunday. 44 right now, and by 9:30, that's as that cold front comes through. Temperatures may actually drop a degree or two before warming back up. We'll see those highs right around 45. By about 9 o'clock, showers will start to develop once again. Colder air catching up to the backside of that. By about 10:30, we'll see that changing over to at least a period of some brief light snow. But notice temperatures are very warm and above freezing, so we are not concerned about any travel issues. It'll be once the moisture is gone that we see those temperatures fall towards the freezing mark. But temperatures are going to be staying in the 40s as we go through the rest of a good chunk of the start of the week before some 50s return towards the end of that week. But 45 degrees today for your high, and then we'll see those temperatures right around 32 tonight with a mix of some rain and snow. And then that's the best chance for any kind of precipitation over the next 7 to 10 days. We've got plenty of sunshine in our forecast going through the work week and the weekend as well. Think we can all enjoy that. In your pet walk forecast, there's Trapper and Albany. That looks like a sweet dog, but I feel like that's a protective dog too. Just looks like he's guarding.
I think so.
Absolutely.
So we were talking during the break. You've never experienced a Midwest winter.
No.
Are you excited?
I'm excited. I've also never seen snow around the holidays. So for me, that's a myth that people just kind of make up. That's never going to exist. So we will see what December brings.
I can speak for a lot of people in that they like to see it fall, but they don't like to see it accumulate, and they always want it gone after Christmas.
You know,
that's my opinion.
I've heard that before. So far, everyone I've talked to in the Midwest seems to like snow, but I'm sure there are those who hate it.
It looks prettier than the dead ground, so.
Yeah, that is true.
All right, Chris, thank you. Be sure to stick with News 3 and Channel 3000 today. On our news at 10 tonight, we're heading to the Henry Vilas Zoo, introducing you to its newest animal. But first, it's not a Halloween party. Instead, one Midwestern town is decked out in red and green for Christmas, months before the actual holiday. Why Christmas came early on News 3 This Morning Sunday. Welcome back at 7:55 this morning. A special celebration this morning. Not in orange and black for Halloween, but all of the colors of Christmas. The December holiday came early for one Iowa town.
Lucas Voss explains why an entire community got in the holly jolly spirit.
What started as a little idea with talking with friends at a football game about putting up Christmas lights for tonight has turned into caroling and snow.
It's all for Marcia Light. It's not every day a community comes together to bring Christmas to someone who may not see Christmas again after being diagnosed with terminal cancer. But they wanted to do it for one of their own.
She's been wanting snow for a month. You know, that was her big thing. She wanted to see snow, and she got to.
Marcia's favorite celebration of the year is Christmas. The gifts, the snow, the feel, and Mount Vernon wanted to give that to her in a unique October celebration, because that's what Marcia would have done.
When you talk to her daily, it's not about how she feels or what's happening to her. It's about how your day was or how your kids were, and that's what makes Marcia special.
For her family, the moment carries sadness, but also joy.
I'm thankful that we were able to celebrate one more Christmas with her. The community support is really amazing.
Merry Christmas. For husbands, sons, and daughters, it's the good memories that count.
Every Christmas morning, we have to get up at like 6 a.m. to go open presents.
And when I asked if they would still enjoy Christmas this year, there was no question.
Oh, yes.
Because that's what Marcia would have wanted.
Even Santa is getting in on the fun. He made a special trip to Mount Vernon, Iowa to deliver some early Christmas presents. I love that story.
Again, those beautiful stories every morning. We got to keep it going. All right. We do have some cloud cover coming back into the picture today that also is going to come with the possibility of some showers as we go into the afternoon and evening. Temperatures will be dropping rather quickly, though it's possible for some light snow to end the back edge of that moisture as it begins to pull on out. Temperatures should be above freezing, though, so I'm not concerned about any kind of travel issues. I'll tell you what's going to be fantastic, though. Sunshine does return after that. We'll see plenty of sunshine through the start of your work week and through next weekend as well. And guess what? Even the week beyond looks to feature plenty of sunshine. Temperatures will be cooler than average.
All right, good news, Chris. Thank you. And thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful Sunday.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.